Welcome to the Erasmus Foundation podcast. My name is Paul Nugent. Are you looking for answers to life and its meaning? Then this may well be the very podcast you need to listen to. In a series of podcasts, we are going to look at the difficult questions of life and apply spiritual knowledge to find out the answers. Hello. Today we are going to talk on the subject witchcraft, good or bad. And with me today is Bettina from Spirit to talk about this. So greetings, Bettina.
Greetings.
Let's make a start with a very straightforward question. What is witchcraft?
I shall try to define this as accurately as possible, but it is essentially the use of energies and thought for the practice, usually, of causing harm to others, and can be, to a greater degree, a celebration using the black arts of Satanism and devil worship.
Thank you, Bettina. Now, many people would refute that, wouldn't they? They would say it's just a laugh. It's just a joke, something not even to consider and worry about. So what would you say to that?
Well, I would say that is foolish, and it gives really armor and support to those practicing witchcraft, that they can go about their business quite freely without anyone taking them seriously, which is a great fault. What I can say, there are those who describe them as white witches, themselves as white witches, and do not wish any harm on others. Now, that may be so, in which case, then that is not a bad thing. If they are doing it for the benefit of helping people, that is precisely a very good thing. It could be described as a form of paganism, and that is not bad if it's done in that way. But usually, as I say, witchcraft is a means of causing harm to others.
So, as you just said, it can be used for good, and really that's probably the wrong title for it. It's, as you say, paganism probably would cover it more if it's going to be used for good, but witchcraft is more to do with the black arts. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So what is the purpose of witchcraft, and why are they doing what they're doing?
There are those who seek power, and they will use any means at their disposal to gain power for the sake of using it to damage others, which of course then enhances their abilities, their prowess, as they might be seen by others, perhaps causing a little fear, which again will only strengthen their sense of power and domination over others. So mostly that is the motive. But then also some will charge money for a service, and they can gain in that way as well. But usually the main motive is to gain power and be seen to be powerful.
So the actual damage they do is what exactly? I mean, they perform many rituals and hold certain sort of really kind of unpleasant events. But what actually is it achieving in affecting other people? What is actually going on?
Well, because thought is the most powerful force within the universe. Thought can be used for both good and bad. In Orthodox religion, thought is used in the form of prayer to help benefit other people, and that is good. Thought can be used in absent healing and wishing health and cures to others who might be ailing in some way. Thought can be very, very constructive, very creative, very beneficial to people. But at the same time, if somebody who is quite strong in the black arts applies a spell, a hex, by bad thoughts upon another, it might be regarded as a bit of a joke or a silly nonsense by many people. But be assured, if that person is strong in the black arts, then they may affect quite a strong hurt on others. And it can be physical, it can be made to frighten people, it can affect in many ways, and it is most destructive. There are some societies within your world, particularly in the African culture, which was transferred to the Caribbean culture during your history many years ago, and places like Haiti, where this practice of voodoo and witchcraft is widely used, widely respected and understood and believed. But most importantly, it is most effective. Now, even if you don't believe this, or you believe that potentially somebody is putting a hex on you, and that thought alone, if you believed it, could cause you damage by your own fears and by your own imaginings. But putting that aside, I can only say that I know in all truth that those practicing the black arts who are strong may be very, very effective in the work they practice. Whether you believe it or not, that is so.
Well, I do believe it, and the point that you're saying is at the moment it's hidden behind this kind of light-heartedness and almost jokey characters that you see in books and films and the like. And what you're saying is that they can work quite happily behind that shield that we've made for them.
Hmm. Hmm. That is so.
So, witchcraft and witches, is it a fairly recent thing, would you say, or has this been going on for a very long time?
It has been going on for a very long time. Ever since man has started on your planet to live, evil was there. It is within mankind to a lesser or greater degree. But in more recent years, I would make the point of saying that evil has grown in strength and power across your world. And these practices have developed and have grown and continue to do so, particularly where, generally speaking, the public doesn't believe in such things and allows them the freedom of evil to work its way across your world in complete disguise, hidden in many, many ways, where people are ignorant of what goes on and how evil works. And this must change. Mankind has got to learn about evil, learn how it works, and learn how to submit it under the control of the light and prevent evil from developing as it has been.
Thank you, Padina. Now, there are many devices that people use, such as
Mhm.
runes, the pendulum, Ouija boards, tarot cards. So, are these just harmless devices, or is there something more to them?
No, again, they are not harmless. The tarot was invented for evil purpose. That was its origins. Now, if you were to use tarot cards for perhaps not such a bad reason, not in evil, you would still need to know how to open up the cards in light and not put certain cards together. And this needs to be understood, and people need to know what they are doing. But they are used for evil purpose by some. I'm not saying by all, of course, but by some. But they have this association, this identity with evil practice. And as I say, this is how they were first designed for that purpose. The other things you mentioned, such as Ouija board, again, a dangerous plaything. And if I may just explain very simply that in using a Ouija board, you are connecting, identifying with lesser forms of life, which then may come to possess in a small way or greater way one of the people who are playing within the group this game. It could be that something quite unpleasant of an evil nature could attach itself to that one person and cause problems. That is the Ouija board. Again, why should anyone play with these things? When using one's mind and knowledge and understanding, which you may seek from the right sources in this world, you would use your mind to communicate with those who no longer live upon the earth, who are in spirit, and may advise you and communicate with you well. Another thing which can be a little dangerous is the use of pendulums and runes. Again, a pendulum, if you are using it to communicate, you could be opening yourself up to a lesser form, which might end up partly controlling your life, as it has happened to some who rely heavily on decisions they would make in their day by asking the pendulum yes or no to perform certain deeds. And that then is allowing yourself to be used by something unhealthy. So that is dangerous potentially. Again, I wouldn't recommend people should use them at all. But if you have to, then again, you have to know how to use them wisely. But I would suggest initially it is not a wise thing to do to use any of these mediums. It is not good.
Thank you, Padina. That's very clear. So, one more question then, really.
Mhm.
Now, it's an event that happens every year and it seems to be growing in popularity. And it's come from America and it's very, very strange in my view. But Halloween, what would you like to say about that?
Well, again, the Halloween, this time of year, has been there for thousands of years, perhaps even longer, used as a festival of satanic practice and witchcraft. It is to celebrate the black arts, and in doing so, those working within a coven or in a satanic circle will do the most horrible abominations, murdering a child even, for the sake of celebrating this particular activity every year. Now, whether you believe that or not is really immaterial, because those who practice these things do believe in what they are doing, and to send children out knocking on people's strangers' doors late at night in darkness is surely, during this particular festival, an insanity and a reckless irresponsibility, in my view.
Okay, so again, this is another festival in a way that is masked by seemingly people having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
behind the scene, you're saying there's something far darker going on.
Oh, indeed. Very much so.
Well, thank you, Bedina. I think we're coming to the end of the podcast for today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close?
No, I just perhaps just to say, of course, there are those working in the light who might call themselves a white witch, who are working not in a bad way. And I appreciate the work they do is not bad, and I would not in any way wish to make any criticism of witchcraft in that form. But generally speaking, it is following the black arts. And that is where I would make a criticism.
The Erasmus Foundation is a spiritual teaching and healing foundation based in Laxfield, Suffolk, in the United Kingdom. We have a webpage, www.erasmus-foundation.org. If you would like to be a guest on our podcast, or indeed have further questions for us, then please contact me on paul@erasmus-foundation.org, and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Thank you very much for listening.